Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Movie Chatter. Wow, yeah, my Stream Deck's just not cooperating today. There we go. There's our Movie Chatter logo down in the corner. I'm Erik, and I'm here tonight with Lou and Robin. And I'm very happy for tonight's episode. Let me post the link in. Oh, there's the link in Discord so people can join us live. Hang out in the chat room with us. Lou, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, doing good? You look very happy to be here.
I'm going to channel my inner Marshawn Lynch tonight.
Oh.
And Erik won't get the reference, but Marshawn Lynch is a running back for the, I think he played the Seattle Seahawks. And
it's a sports thing.
He used to get fined for not going to press conferences after the games. And after the Super Bowl, he just went to a press conference. The only thing he said was, I'm only here because I have to be here. Actually, he said, I'm only here because I won't get fined. So that's what I'm going to do for this episode. So whenever you go to me, it says, I'm only here because I have to be here.
So Lou, let me make sure I'm understanding this correctly. I could have been fining you guys for not showing up all this time. I'd be making bank on some of our hosts. Wow.
I'm only here because I have to be here.
Lou. That's okay, Lou. That's okay. I forgive you, but it's going to be all right. I want to be here, and I know Robin desperately wants to be here tonight.
Well, I adore my two co-hosts.
And with good reason.
Well, one of them owes me a favor.
Don't you adore one of them a little less tonight?
One of them owes you a favor.
A little bit.
Who would it be that owes you a favor?
That would be you.
No. This is the retribution. I mean, the repayment of...
Because now my assistant thinks I watch bad movies.
You do.
No, there is no. There's not any words. No, never mind.
There are no words.
But Lou, that's what we do. We podcast. We come up with words. We express ourselves verbally.
There's no words for this. No.
So tonight,
this is so far beyond anything you've ever done to us in the past. That
I know.
I know. I just can't even talk.
It's. I know. I have never been.
It's on the verge of criminal. It really is.
I've never been so proud of myself. I really haven't.
It's on the verge of criminal.
Since this was a film school, this came out of a film school project. Right. I think at the end of this, we all have to grade it.
Film school should be burned to the ground.
See, Robin being a film school instructor, I thought this is the perfect thing. This is literally what she does. This is right up her alley, Lou. It felt like destiny.
I read some trivia on this movie. Every single person in this movie failed the class that this movie came out of.
Oh, I haven't even read that.
You
really?
Are vindicated, Lou. You are vindicated.
How did he go on to a successful career after this?
Well, I want to point out. So we're covering. We should go ahead and not bury the lead any further. We're covering Cannibal, the musical, and I imagine there are at least a couple of you out there who have never heard of it. You have never heard of it because it was, as Robin pointed out, hush. Shh. You said there were no words.
I'm finding it out.
Channel my Chris Tucker there. Okay, so this is the film school project of Grammy and Emmy and Tony award-winning musical producers and creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone. Creators of South Park, creators of the Book of Mormon. I want to point out, Lou over here, Mr. McGrumpy Face, has never won a Tony for a stage play or musical. Yeah, just saying.
No, I have not.
Nope.
No,
these guys have, Lou.
They not for this.
No. This was
do a little public service announcement up front, though.
This was their learning experience. Yes.
For anybody who is not going to make it to the end of this episode, I want to be emphatic in the way I say this, that do not watch this movie. Okay, I'm all done.
Without having friends present.
No.
Share the love.
Or a lobotomy.
Right.
Lou, I've seen this movie multiple times.
I wanted to gouge my eyes out.
That actually is in the movie, I think, at one point.
So it gave me the idea.
So I got to ask a question. Hey, Tom, in the chat room. Tom would watch the movie. Tom, would you watch this movie?
Tom,
we haven't even talked about it yet. How would Tom even know if he would watch this movie by these award-winning creators?
Do you trust anything I've ever said, Tom?
So, Lou, I got to ask a question. How far into this movie did you get? Did you finish the movie?
I did not. I got like
so
12
you
minutes
walked
left.
out partway through. You can't even really judge it because you didn't see the whole thing.
I had 12 minutes left. Now, let me tell you this.
12 minutes left. That's like the whole closing.
This is the first movie I ever wanted to turn off before I even got to the opening title card. I was like, oh my God, it's only been 3 minutes. I'm like, Jesus.
Tom has seen it. Tom in the chat room has seen the movie. Tom, welcome to Movie Chatter. You're here by replacing Lou tonight. What did you think of the movie?
How you cannot replace hosts? I'm going to vote you off the island in a minute.
But okay. All right. So Tom, you're not going to replace him, but you can speak in his stead for now. For those who haven't seen it, which again, I imagine there's a couple of you maybe who haven't seen it. This was from 1993 and it takes place during the gold rush. And the main character is going from Utah to Colorado, which should take 4 days or so, I guess. And instead it takes like weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And along the way, some bad things happen and he gets arrested for cannibalism and is to be executed. And the movie takes place through flashbacks of the female reporter who goes and interviews him at the jail to hear the true story. Because what's presented in the courtroom is the little black and white scary vignette thing that they had at the very beginning that made Lou want to stop the movie right then and there. But that's not what really happened, Lou. That was just what the people in the court were trying to
make me want to stop.
No?
No.
Common sense, good taste, and free will.
Yes, it had all those things.
Bad editing, bad sound, bad color, bad cuts. Yeah.
Bad acting.
Bad acting.
Bad acting.
Bad directing.
Bad singing.
You're making my neck hurt here. They had a "Let's Build a Snowman" song. I mean, it worked for Frozen. Why wouldn't it have?
Literally, my assistant walked into my office
during that
several
song
times and just went. And I went, yeah, I know.
That is the best song.
As a favor for a friend.
I have sung that song to people before, Lou.
And somebody else in the lunchroom was like, "What are you watching?" I'm like, and then they said, because they heard music and I was playing it really softly so people wouldn't hear it and be traumatized by it.
The shame was overwhelming.
Is that new one in the Heights? I'm like, no, it is not. And then I had to explain what was going on, and they laughed.
I'm literally crying. This is so wonderful. I cannot. Wait. Tom in the chat room said had a good time with it. I would concur with that, Tom.
He had a good time with the DVD because he was using it as a frisbee and throwing it around the room.
No, he watched the movie.
No, he had a good time with the disc because he was throwing.
I'm going to sing.
I think Tom.
Let's build a snowman. We can make him our best friend.
Don't do it.
The only remotely funny song in that was the one about being on top of his horse.
Yes.
Oh, that one I found boring.
Just I want to be on top. Yeah.
So this is
And the only remotely funny bit in the movie was when the young kid starts unbuckling those pants. He's like, no, we're gonna eat the sheep. He says, no, I gotta go to the bathroom. that was it.
Lou, 5 years.
Clear.
I do apologize, Robin. 5 years I've been trying to get you to watch Kung Pao and then Enter the Fist with me. And you've agreed.
That's probably never going to happen now.
Repeatedly, you've agreed, and it never happened. So
that's never going to happen now. But here's the thing:
it's a better movie than this.
Anything's a better movie than this.
Yeah, Robin.
Okay. That small little movie I made in catechism class when I was like, I don't know, 6. Where we did the whole thing with the No, I'd never had a copy of it. But we made that with the whole resurrection thing of that was better than this. and we were 6.
I don't know. They did something right. They make more money than the 3 of us combined.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Not with this film. And we need to be very clear.
But you got to start somewhere.
But you don't have to show where you start.
Lou, don't spit up your drink. Don't spit up your drink.
I'm good, thanks.
I've managed to make Lou spit water through
I
his
love
nose.
We've
on
had
a podcast.
so many close calls with Lou and his drinks on this show. If only somebody had compiled like a montage. Like a montage from like Team America World Police.
How do I get to all these movies?
I love it. I've never been this happy on a podcast before in my life. I've interviewed celebrities from Star Wars. I interviewed Clayton from Circle of Dust and Cell Dweller, somebody I've been a fan of for years. Never have I smiled this much on a show so far. Just saying. But Robin, you were about to make a point before Lou just kept going.
You know, here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's clearly supposed to be bad.
Yeah.
So they just went with it. Now,
yes.
You know, depending on what said film school assignment was, I could literally put together a rubric about all of the things that you should be learning in film school and fail this movie on every single component, as Lou and I sort of tag team mentioned earlier. But I got to tell you, the guys went on to, you know, some of the stuff the guys have done, not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of this particular duo. I don't like middle school boy humor, and that is what this is full of. But I guarantee you, in today's political climate, this would have never been made, not even at a film school.
No. Now, you do understand that this is largely satire, right?
Yeah, we get it.
Okay.
But we can't do satire anymore. Sadly,
Westerns and musicals and
sadly we can't.
filmmaking in general.
Sure.
I mean, sadly, there's a lot, you know, not to get away from this lovely movie we're talking about, but I mean, there's a lot of movies that can't be remade that were really good because they were satirical, because they're poking fun at stuff, but they're not politically correct. I mean, Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, couldn't be made
never
today.
remake that today. No. You know, I mean, it's just, I don't know. Sorry.
Was it the quote Indians that is what's the clearly East Asian Indians?
Yes, we are Indians.
Yeah.
Yes.
Martial arts practices outside their many, many, many teepees. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But satire. I mean, it was making fun of itself, and it was making fun of various other different things in a way to just kind of poke fun of it and have fun with it. And by the end of the movie, like I shouldn't ask Lou that. You felt absolutely nothing.
I felt nothing.
I will watch the last 10 minutes, but
just to get closure,
Why?
Lou, just to say.
Sure, I will.
Because otherwise it's always going to be, I watched 90% of this really bad movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you have to close the book.
You don't.
You really do. You want to leave the book open?
For suckers.
Not this book.
Okay, so just for the sake of not making this the shortest episode ever, as you two both insisted it would be before we started recording.
Hey, we're already 16 minutes in, and I recorded. Actually,
I know, and you know what? We've already talked about some actual things like satire and like film school projects and like.
But you keep trying to redeem it by saying it's satire.
Oh no, this is a horrible movie. There's no redeeming it.
No. But it is even horrible satire. So it's not even that.
It doesn't have a message in the satire, and the satire is supposed to.
Oh, it has a message.
It even failed at that.
Don't do anything that this film did if you want to be a filmmaker.
But again, I think that was kind of their big FU to their instructor, probably, because that's kind of how they are. But I'm not trying to redeem this movie. It's irredeemable. It's not. It's a bad movie. Why do you think I'm laughing so hard right now?
We know it's a bad movie.
Yeah. But you guys didn't have any fun at all. Not even not a smidgen.
No, I really didn't.
No,
I'm sorry.
really didn't.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Well, I do hope you guys can show some gratitude for me suggesting we watch this because spoiler alert.
Because anything else you watch after this is
The
going to be
next
like,
movie
wow.
we watch is going to be the most brilliant thing you've ever seen in your life. At least by comparison. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Lou.
I know. I love it. He looks like just the pain on his face is delicious. It's
and I'm sure there have been dictators in the past that have said the same thing after they starved their population for like weeks and weeks and weeks and gave them a little bit of food at the end. And here you go, here's some food.
And look at this, Lou. You even got to eat. I didn't even starve you.
All right, what's the next movie, people?
Well, hold on. So I want to ask you guys some questions. So we have In the Heights that just came out. And Robin, this whole movie recommendation came about because Robin keeps threatening to make us watch, if not The Greatest Showman yet again, but some musical. So, for those who don't know the history of this, I finally caved and I said, you know what, fine. I'll agree to do a musical, but only if I get to choose the musical. And she said, okay.
You just did. So now we're on. Now we're even.
So, but since we're on musicals, and In the Heights came out, and Hamilton came out last year when Disney Plus debuted with their streaming, and a lot of people watched it, whereas they would not have otherwise gone to a theater to watch a musical. And Hamilton has been really big in pop culture. So you had a lot of people sit and watch it who would not otherwise have watched a musical. And we've got Broadway. Yes, Tom in the chat room. I am really enjoying this. And, we've got Broadway coming back later this year, I think September. Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't like musicals. I like South Park, the musical. Typically speaking, I don't like musicals. And Lou, you're not really a big fan either, correct? Okay.
No, not really.
So let's talk a little bit about musicals. I know a lot of our audience isn't into musicals either. So why is it? Of all the different genres of film, musical seems to be one of those genres that most people don't like. You've got foreign films, independent films, documentaries, musicals. Those are like, as far as genres go, and we're not talking subgenres like time travel, Robin. Those seem to be in the bottom. Why is it? Robin, what is it you like about musicals?
I like well-done musicals because it uses an art form not normally used to advance a story. That is technically what a musical is. It's not just throwing silly lyrics in whenever you feel like it, sort of like Mel Brooks and Men in Tights and things like that. A real musical uses the medium to advance the story, right? And so it engages the audience on multiple different levels. And so that is, and some pieces that I would have seen in play format are actually more accessible to audiences if they're if they embrace the musical format.
Yeah.
And so I don't like all musicals. I have to tell you, one of my favorite musicals of all time is My Fair Lady and Singing in the Rain. And those two really do embrace this notion of we're going to completely and thoroughly entertain our audience, in multiple ways, and not cause a break that disassociates the audience member from what's occurring on the screen or on the stage.
I think that is a really interesting point that you made, which I agree with, that you've got something like Robin Hood Men in Tights. It's not enough to just break out of the story to do a musical performance like a vaudeville show. Like the music is supposed to actually be seamless with the storytelling.
Right.
That's a really good point. I would agree with that. Lou, are there any musicals you can think of that you have liked?
But see, for me, it's the difference of musical versus movies that have music in them.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never been a big fan of musicals that have the music telling the story. Characters spontaneously breaking out in song. It just doesn't work for me. But like music that is part of the story, I'm trying to think of anything off the top of my head, but I can't off the top of my head. Where music is part of it. Like even what was the one that was done about Freddie Mercury last year?
The Queen one.
Bohemian Rhapsody. So that wasn't a musical, but the music played a big part of the story. And to me, I like that. It was good, but it wasn't. I'm not a big fan of opera either. It's just it's just music that is, or even musicals on Broadway. If it's a play, I'm okay with that. But if it's a musical, it's like
But why? What is it about that you think you have a hard time connecting with?
I don't know. It's just something I don't.
Because if it's poorly done, it takes you out of the story, and it's like, hey, we're gonna put a placeholder right here so that we can showcase someone's vocal talent. But showing something like Bohemian Rhapsody or the one that was done about Elton John or Pirate Radio, to take the music out of those pieces you wouldn't have a piece, because the movie was about
the, but I don't think of those as musicals.
Right, because they are not.
I mean, I'm thinking musical things like things with Danny Kaye in them, right? I mean, think of White Christmas, and those are musicals.
White Christmas,
while they're
my favorite.
While they're okay, it's like okay, it's not my thing.
Yeah.
But
and I'm with you.
But very rarely are there anything. The time of musicals is kind of past. We don't see a lot of musicals being done today, right? I mean, one of the most recent ones was what was the one with Emma Stone?
La La Land. I haven't seen it.
Right, that was a musical. I haven't seen it either, but that
Robin,
was a musical.
you must have seen it.
Yes, I have not seen it.
Okay,
I'm not a fan of all musicals.
I want to see because I like Emma Stone. It got good reviews.
Maybe we should cover it.
It's modern. Maybe we should. I'm not saying we do it next, but I'm saying it's something I want to watch.
We need to watch it first and then decide, because we've been burned by that trap too many times. But I'm with you, Lou, and I think that for me, and kind of what you were talking about, Robin, but maybe a little bit different. For me, it's when I'm watching someone walking down the street, and it's raining, and they're really happy, and maybe they start singing in the rain or whatever, and they're dancing around and stuff. I mean, that's not really the kind of thing you're normally going to see, but you know what? I've seen people just kind of bouncing around and doing goofy things on the street before in the rain, enjoying themselves, and that's fine. But then when all of a sudden all the shopkeepers come out and start singing along with you on the street, and then woodland creatures start walking in, and you have rabbits and deer and swaying back and forth with the music, and like it just gets goofy. It's like that's not a thing. That's
probably
like a bad drug trip.
Same reason.
Yeah.
Even down to I've only seen like bits and pieces of the show, but I think it was NBC had it on, and I'm not sure if it's even still an active show, but Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. That was a take on musicals for TV, right? Where she would have songs in her head, and the characters would all break into that song and sing songs that were in her head for whatever was going on.
Crazy Ex-Girlfriend is the same way.
Is it okay? Yeah. It never interested me. I'm like, okay, it's like I don't care for seeing these people do karaoke versions of whatever song is coming on, because it's in her head thinking about her boyfriend or whatever it was. It's like it doesn't really do it for me.
Okay, and that's fine. It doesn't have to work for everyone, but I have liked.
That's why we have different kinds of movies.
I've liked some musicals. Okay, so well, we are going to cover In the Heights next, and I've already seen it. I assume both of you have not yet, right?
I have not, but my wife wants to, and
Okay.
we're going to watch it.
So I kind of feel like I still haven't broken out of that not really liking musicals thing. Just to give you a little preview. I liked it. It was good. I don't love it, but I don't think I ever could have really loved it just because it's in a genre I don't have any interest in. But I respect that it was done well. So I'm going to be curious as to see what the two of you end up thinking of that. And honestly, Hamilton, it's like it's a movie, but it's not a movie. It's a recording of a stage production. But if you guys have the time to, as we cover In the Heights, I would like to ask you guys to also watch Hamilton. It's a little longer, but I swear it's worth it.
I've already seen it.
Okay, and what did you think in a nutshell?
I thought it was well produced. I thought, it was, Lin-Manuel Miranda is a phenomenal artist. And yeah, it was good stuff. Was it my genre? Was it my thing?
But it was different. Like for me,
but I can appreciate
it was a stage production. So like I had an easier time enjoying that than I would if they'd made a quote movie of it and like set it back in that time period,
Sure.
And I think that's why I liked it more than I liked In the Heights. But Robin, if you have the time to watch Hamilton before we record, I would be interested in seeing how you would compare and contrast Hamilton and In the Heights. Because one became a pop culture juggernaut, and the other, which came first, kind of snuck under the radar.
I've not seen either.
Okay. Well, like I said, after this, I'm sure you're going to think they're both incredible because they're so much better than Cannibal the musical.
Speaking of In the Heights, and Lynn, there was a clip of him on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon last week, and talking about his kids, and Jimmy Fallon's asking, did your kids sing in the house? And he's like, well, we're all big fans of Weird Al Yankovic, and they've taken to the song "Smells Like Nirvana."
Yeah,
and they said they sing everything in that phrasing now, and it's like
nice.
It was really funny. You got to watch the clip. It was really funny. I'm not going to sing it for you, but it was very well done.
I'll have to check that out. All right, and by the way, if you're a fan of Lin-Manuel Miranda, I highly recommend you check out Freestyle Love Supreme, which is also a show on Broadway. It's not a stage show, but it's a live improv hip hop show, and they did a TV series. I forget which network it was on, but you can get it. It was only one season, maybe 10 episodes or so. You can pick it up really cheap on iTunes. And if you are at all into stand-up comedy or improv or just Lin-Manuel Miranda or how his brain works, because it's incredible. It's really cool to pick up. So I think when I go see Robin and Tim here pretty soon, I'm going to have to take that with me. I think that if nothing else, Tim would appreciate the difficulty of the level of improv that they have to do. So
the one thing about Freestyle Love Supreme that kind of gets me, and again, it's that musical thing that I'm not real big on. My improv instructor does the same thing. She tries to put a lot of musical improv into our sessions, and it's like, I'm not a big singer.
Yeah.
I'm not, it's not something I want to be. That's something I want to learn. That's something I'm comfortable with, and it's just okay. I'll do it, but it's like, I'm not good at the whole improv song thing.
Yeah, a lot of improv doesn't, but then every now and then you do get some who are very much into that, because there's a natural overlap on any sort of stage performance, because a lot of stage performance is musical, and then the stuff that isn't is typically some sort of a stand-up comedy or acting, but then a lot of acting on stage is also musical. So
and some people are fantastic. I mean, Jimmy Fallon is fantastic.
Yeah, he's a good singer.
musician in his own right. But it's like for me, it's like, okay, I'm not going to participate in this one as much.
Well, everybody's got their forte. You just need to learn beatboxing, exactly. Lou. That's what you got to do. Yeah. All right. Okay, I've padded this out enough to be the length of a normal episode. I think I did okay here. All right. So, we have to wrap it up like a traditional episode. Cannibal the Musical. I would say that if you can find a copy somewhere and you've got some time to kill and just want to watch one of the silliest, most ridiculous things to ever be filmed, I'd say, yeah, go for it. Lou, what do you think? Would you recommend this?
I'm only here because I have to be here.
Robin.
I came because Lou came.
You know what, though?
No, if you want to watch this to make every other movie seem amazing by comparison,
this will fix all of the DC movies, including the Joss Whedon Justice League cut. Yes, this is the fix, the cure for all other bad movies that you don't like. I have to say this, though. I do appreciate that I have co-hosts that are game enough to give up an hour and a half of their free time for the sake of doing something entertaining and different for the podcast. Kind of the shock value of something that we've never done before, just to kind of be silly and goofy and hopefully entertaining for the audience. And I appreciate that. So thank you, both of you.
Hey, Robin.
Yeah.
Robin, did he give us a choice?
Nope.
Okay, just thought so. Go ahead, Erik.
I was trying to do the glass half full thing and give you guys some sort of credit, but okay, well, fine. In that case, screw you guys. I'm going home.
We're fine.
To quote the great philosopher Erik Cartman. All right. Well.
Oh, poor Erik.
Poor me. No, not this episode. Oh my gosh. Okay, so next up, we are going to cover In the Heights, just released on HBO Max. I think it's one of those where it's only going to be there for a month and then they're taking it off because it's also a theatrical release. So it's in theaters. It's on HBO Max. It is written and produced by Lin-Manuel Miranda. I forget who the director is. It is a director that's known for doing other things. I forget what, though. Really good cast. It's got some of the cast from Hamilton in it as well. I think it's got one of the cast of Brooklyn Nine-Nine in it, too. I have to look it up. Anyway, really good. We're going to be covering that next Tuesday, so tune in. Otherwise, we will be back. I think we're going to be back Sunday night. I have to double check because it's also Father's Day and my son's visiting and I don't know what we have planned. There's a Teen Titans Go special at 6 p.m. where they're covering the first Space Jam movie. And I don't know if it's like an MST3K sort of thing with the Teen Titans characters. It's weird sounding, but anyway, I think we're still on for Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. For Force Chatter and Random Chatter. And that's going to do it. Everybody, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for putting up with this episode. I know that nobody's seen the movie. You guys just wanted to watch Lou and Robin suffer.
And on behalf of the network, I apologize for everybody who had to sit through this movie.
I don't think anybody else watched it except you guys. And me.
I hope not.
Yeah, and Tom in the chat room, who I just want to quote.
And the professor who failed.
Had a good time with it.
Who failed.
Did he really fail all of them? You know more trivia
class.
on this than I do.
I read that.
Yeah?
I read that.
Yeah. I think we might have to all chip in and do an intervention for Tom.
Oh,
yeah.
Tom clearly has taste. Showing up live at randomchatter.com/YouTube to join us for our live chat on Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. No, I don't think Tom needs an intervention at all. I think he enjoyed this episode.
Okay, Tom needs help.
Though he would have enjoyed it more if we'd gotten Lou to do a spit take while drinking. We're still working on that, folks. We've gotten close many times.
I got closest.
I don't know. We had one where he almost choked the one time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The true winner of the competition will be when he's cleaning up his keyboard later. Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Movie Chatter. We will see you again in about a week.